Welcome to the new version of Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast, the podcast for real estate agents everywhere. I'm Lisa B, and together with Bjorn Kunzel, we're going to talk about everything real estate. We talk about what's working, what's not working, what's new, what's old, technology, and anything else to do with real estate. We'll answer your questions from the Facebook group Let's Talk About Real Estate. So if you have a question, we can help. Join the Facebook group today. And again, welcome to the show. Okay, Bjorn Kunzel, Chris Janzon from Team South Australia eXp. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us, Lisa.
All right, today, what we're going to talk about is the support in eXp and our massive support that we offer all of our agents. So, Chris, you're the licensee of South Australia. So, can you tell us your role within eXp South Australia?
So look, Bjorn and I started eXp really here in South Australia. We were one of the early adapters, and I was incredibly fortunate to be tapped on the shoulder by this US saying, look, we need someone, we know you and Bjorn are doing some great things as respected leaders in our model. We need somebody who can look after compliance, and we want someone who's really dedicated to growth. So I was very fortunate. I was in the position where I had all my RLA and diplomas aligned, and, Bjorn wanted to keep on focusing on listing and selling, absolutely, but also helping grow the team. So we thought there's a real good opportunity here where we could come together and have a direct line to the States, but then still, equally contribute to the state in terms of its growth. So part of my role in the licensee role, I still list and transact. So I'm very much hands-on with all of our guys and girls in the marketplace. The two main focal point is compliance. So I make sure all our agents are doing the right thing when it comes to paperwork, contracts, law, obviously, just to eliminate any risk worries for our agents so they can just focus on listing and selling and know that their back-end compliance is actually all checked thoroughly before it's processed and approved. The second part is growth. One of the wonderful opportunities in eXp is we can build a lifetime legacy passive income through revenue share. And in fact, as we shoot this, I'm sitting in my caravan in WA traveling Australia for 12 months because Rev Shares actually helped me get to this point in my life. It's an income that comes in residual passively every month, and it's a lifetime legacy that I can pass on to my kids, their kids, and so forth. So where I'm really focused right now, and I'm finding a great deal of passion in doing this and getting off the listing and selling tools, is helping people like Bjorn and other members in our team actually have the opportunity to grow their team in a downline so they can have the same opportunity to have a passive income so they don't have to worry about listing and transacting all the time and that next commission payment.
Yeah, perfect. So what about the rest of the support that members are offered, like particularly your guys in South Australia? What sort of support do our team members get? Both from you, Bjorn.
I'll let Bjorn answer this one because he's fantastic and well respected in this space. Absolutely.
If I can jump in here, basically it's great because we've got Chris taking care of all the legalities, like he's explained, and the compliance, and also supporting the team. But I'm on the ground now with the team while Chris is traveling Australia, living the dream. And we still get to unite like this, and we are very united, Chris and myself. But I'm down here on the ground on the team. So basically, if we get an agent that needs some support or they need some help with some dialogue, of course, they can pick up the phone and call myself or Chris. If they need somebody to attend a listing appointment with them because they need some help to get that over the line, or they need to have a vendor meeting, then they can call on myself and I can actually go and attend one of those meetings with them face to face, or attend an open inspection with them. We normally have 2 agents at every open inspection and things like this. So together between us, we make sure that every agent feels included and every agent has the access to experienced agents like myself and Chris and other agents within the team. And everybody has the ability to list and sell to the best of their capabilities by having the support they need, not only from a compliance and a legal perspective, but also from an emotional perspective and also from a training perspective. So yeah, it works really well. And I know Chris is living the dream right now and he's in his van now. How many opportunities would you have in a traditional model as a leader to be able to still continue to transact and carry out your role? And Chris is doing a wonderful job. Like, if people didn't know that Chris was in a caravan, none of the team here in South Australia would actually realise that he's not actually here in South Australia right now. That's how good he's doing his job remotely.
I think the beautiful thing is, like when both Bjorn and I were there on the tools, we were writing some pretty good numbers, right? And you'd either get one or the other. But I feel like now, like if you look at a business owner, right, they can never dedicate the time that they need to their sales team because they're generally on the tools transacting themselves. Yeah. Whereas now we've got this beautiful blend between Bjorn and I where he's still on the tools listing and transacting, absolutely. But with the licensee role, I can now be like focused on that. In fact, this week I've got my last 2 settlements, right? And then that's it. There's no more vendors and buyers I'm dealing with. So I'm now grabbing my guys and girls and saying, right, when you need support, come directly to me. I'm here. Like I'm 100% focused to you. There's no distraction or side business now. Like this is it. Let me help you grow your business. Let me help you grow your team. Like before, you know, I just did a negotiation with one of our guys and they just picked up the phone. I said, are you in front of your computer? Yeah, because we're more in front of our computers than ever before these days. I said, mate, here's a Zoom link, jump on. I'm going to role play it with you right now. How we're going to handle that situation. Awesome. Like within 5 minutes of a call being made, we jumped on a Zoom like this and we role played that negotiation where they hit a little bit of a roadblock and didn't know how to tackle it. And I'm like, I've got 3 ways we can tackle this and this is what I'll do, but let's role play and flesh it out together. And we did that. Bang, off they go. They're ready to now renegotiate and bring that deal back to life and resuscitate it.
Awesome. Okay. So, I mean, the incredible support that both of you provide. Now, what about eXp? What support does eXp corporate provide our members from listing, selling, admin, all of that sort of thing? Because that's a question everybody asks, you know, am I going to be left here, you know, by myself, and what else, you know, what else do they get?
I'll answer this from a corporate role and Bjorn can answer this from an agent role. I've experienced both, obviously. So from a corporate role, we have employed staff here in Australia that support all our agents virtually. Okay. Now I'm releasing some podcast series to introduce and put a face to those people and who they are behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So when agents call me and say, like, are you flying on your own? Do you get support? Yeah, we do. We have virtual assistants. Are they? Oh, so they're in Manila, Philippines? Nope, they're in Australia. They're mums and dads that own homes in your marketplace. They know our community. They live here, and they virtually support our whole national network, whether it be from before you come on board and transition your whole business, we hold your hand there, to then once you come on board from day 1 to day 90, we help that transition with the whole onboarding from beginning to end. Through to contracts to settlement. You know, we essentially have set this model up with the view of scale of economies in volume, quantity, right? So when you've got 80,000 plus agents globally, that's big buying power. So to have more support, the larger you are. So, and the real advantage there is that we've centralized our model to be about the agent, right? It's for the agent. So what do we need to do to help our agents to be able to just focus on listing and transacting? Whether you're a mum and dad and you want to write 150 grand to $1 million plus, the model bolts into any style of operator and however much you want to produce as an operator. The great thing with our virtual assistants in the podcast series that I'm running at the moment, a lot of the girls I've spoken to, Kirsten and Emily, they came from former administrator office environments to now working from home virtually online to support our agents. And one of the questions I asked them in that series, Lisa, is, so how would you rate the difference between an office to a home work from home balance? And they said, I'd never go back, every one of them, because I'm more productive. Like I can get in the office when I choose and I can knock off when I choose, as long as the work's done, whether I started at 7 p.m. and finish at 9 p.m. But they got this beautiful blended balance where they can choose when they come in, then focus on family life, maybe do a little bit more work, so chunks of time, but it's that productivity. The thing that keeps resonating, I get through more than I ever did in an office environment because there's no noise, there's no distractions, and there's no water cooler conversations. Yeah, so that's it from a corporate point of view. Bjorn, agent?
Well, from an agent's point of view, Lisa, it's very important that people understand that I've had people doing things for me. I've been in real estate 14 years, and for about 9 of those 14 years, I've had personal assistants within the office that have been solely dedicated to myself, that have been doing everything. Okay, all I do is list, sell, sales agency agreements, contracts. That's it. I've had people prospecting for me that I've paid for. I've had people taking care of the sale to settlement for me. I've had people entering data into the computer. I wouldn't even known the first thing about my database, which was my desktop back then. So you've got to understand, from my point of view, when we decided, Chris and I, to do this and start this thing along with Mike Lowry, it was very, very scary for me. Very, very scary, because I thought, hold on a minute, I don't have any personal assistant to do any of this stuff for me. I'm going to have to learn how to use the computer. I'm going to have to learn how to use the systems. But in all honesty, like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And Chris will laugh at this, because he knows what I used to be like. I used to be like, well, what do I do here? What do I push? Oh, how do I do that? And he'd be like, dude, you just grab your mouse and you go over there and you push that button. Oh, okay, thanks. Right. So for me, coming in, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to have to learn a PhD.
Technology,
how to use things, right?
Yeah.
Within a couple of weeks, easy peasy. They put us onto Agent Box Academy. Kirsten goes through the onboarding. Bjorn, here's Agent Box Academy. There's a whole series of videos that you can watch that learns exactly everything you need to do. Beautiful. I'm a very visual person. Watch a video, do it. Watch a video, do it. Very, very easy. Hey, can you help me out with this? In head office. Yeah, no worries, Bjorn, jump on a Zoom. I'll show you how to do that. Hey, Kirsten, I've forgotten how to do this. No worries, Bjorn, jump on a Zoom. We'll do that for you. You know, even Chris and Mike helping each other and supporting each other. I'm very big on the psychology behind why people do things and the psychology of real estate. And Mike was very ultra organized. I had a whole heap of listings coming on straight away, and I didn't know how to do certain things. Mike didn't have the listings, but he knew how to do those things. We teamed up, we worked the listings together, we got things done. So the support from our point of view is still there when the three of us joined and started this thing, to exactly what the guys are getting now. But the guys that are doing it now, we've already put the brand and the name out there. So a lot of the legwork and the hard work for agents coming on, should I change brand? Should I not change brand? It's not an issue anymore. I mean, this morning I met with two potential agents that have both joined up with the Join app, and both of those agents, one of them seen my videos and one of them came through our avenues to us. So there's agents out there that are awakening up to the model and realizing, why would I work for 40 or 50% when I can do everything and earn 75% for my first 100K and then 100% for everything thereafter, with full admin support, with full trust accounting. Basically, I've even got access to Candace, who is a personal assistant I've only brought on in the last couple of months. I'm pretty much working part-time now, Lisa. When I was in
doing incredible figures, yeah.
The best I ever did in traditional model was 437,000, working with an agent, 50-50 partnership, and having a personal assistant. And the best I ever earned from that, when I was on an 80% commission split, was like something like 180 grand. Right now, I've already written close to 500K. I've calculated I'll probably do 560, 570 by the time that my next 12 months is up in eXp. My first year in eXp, I did 487 or 478. I get those two numbers mixed up, so don't quote me. And that was learning everything from scratch. And now in this year, I've basically gone from spending, 20% of my time trying to help other agents in the team and helping Chris to train those agents up, to now actually being a transactional agent. And I'll probably do close to 560 this year. And I'm almost doing it part-time, Lisa. And I don't say that to be cocky. Yeah. I say that because the systems that we have in place and the support that we have in place, I believe is 5 times greater than the support systems I had in place in a traditional office. Yeah. So from an agent's perspective, you're not flying solo, you're not flying alone. There is massive amounts of support. We even have access to free trainers. We've got access to your training, Lisa. We've got access to Glenn Twiddle's training for free. There is so much for agents that just are self-motivated. As long as they believe in themselves and they get off their backside and do what needs to be done, they're succeeding. And we've got some really good success stories in our team.
Yeah, I think this is how we put this massive bearing on support, which, don't get me wrong, 5-10 years ago, you paid good money to get good support, right? But then the business and our industry has revolutionized, and the evolution's here, right? So it's either you're adapting and changing to it, or you're still just paying for it, right? Yeah. Well, it's a bit like, when you try to fix something, you don't know the answer. What do? You jump on Google and you try and, determine what the symptoms are if you're not feeling well yourself before going to the doctor. Or, if there's a leaky pipe in the bathroom, well, how do I fix a leaky pipe? There's a wealth of information, and it's all online these days. Yeah. There's essential support that I think there's a nominal amount that every agent should pay for, like non-negotiable support, but paying, if you're paying more than really 30+% for support, it's probably paying too much. In today's day and age with cloud technology, online stuff, virtual support that we're talking about now. Sure, when you go back 5 years ago, bricks and mortar, traditional real estate, yeah, there's high overheads, big expenses. You needed to pay more. Absolutely. I totally get that. But I think there's two types of agents. You either adapt to the evolution and move your business online so you can reduce overheads and costs, still get the same level of support, but spend it more creatively in that support that you're getting, or you're staying as a bricks and mortar, you're going to be taking less and you're going to be paying more for that support.
Exactly. And the other thing I like about you guys, or I love about you guys, is that whatever strength that you've got in your team, that person will help others in that space, where it's social media or, you know, social media marketing, lead generation, whatever. You all jump in and help each other. And that's the power of the team as well. Like we want to see everybody succeed. And you don't get that very often in any real estate brand. Not that I've seen anyway, in my 30 years, you know, you just don't get that level.
When you're on the percentages that we're on at eXp, the best way I explain it is there's no King Arthur here at eXp. We're knights of the round table, and all knights have an equal share and an equal opportunity. And the guys that I was speaking to today that come and join us are on exactly the same deal as me, who's writing 500, 560K. Yeah. Exactly the same deal. None of these secret squirrel deals going on, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we've got Brewery in our team. Absolutely amazing. Knows how to Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. We've got Arahan, who's really good. And Arahan creates daily tiles for the guys that are no real good on socials.
Yeah.
Arahan's creating daily tiles. So if you go onto Bjorn Kunzel Real Estate or Chris's Real Estate page, you'll see that we've got the same messages going out. And it might be one, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right either way, eXp, or it might be, don't let fear motivate you. Let your passions drive you. You know, things like this, these little messages. So there's content going out daily. So people that are no good at Canva and designing those things, Chris is designing videos that people can all use. Arahan's designing tiles. Chris is supporting us from a corporate point of view. I'm helping them with the psychology of real estate. You've got other agents out there like Simon Bashara that are helping people to understand what it's like when you grow a team, because he used to employ dozens of people. So there's a world of knowledge to be tapped into. And the best bit about it is because we're not in each other's back pockets, and because we're all retaining so much of our own income, like in all seriousness, Lisa, there's $1 million agents out there that are taking home less than what I'm taking home. And I'm doing it part-time because they've got teams of 5 or 6 and they've got to pay them all and they've got to babysit them all.
And the stress of having those teams.
You know?
Yeah. There's two reasons that there's this beautiful culture of collaboration and sharing here. Firstly, Bjorn mentioned it before. Our agents are keeping more, so they're making more, so they've got more, right? Whether it be time, whether it be money, whatever, right? So naturally, when you're making more, you're probably more willing to share because you're not scrapping and fighting over the same seagulls, not fighting, flock of seagulls fighting over the same chip to get the 50% of that chip. You know what I mean? It's like, there's 100% of the chip, you're getting 100% of that chip. Eat it all. It's all yours.
And there's 100 chips.
So, that's right. So that's one thing. But the other thing as well is we attract self-sufficient agents, right? Whereas in an office environment, I've been there, it's very much everyone fighting for the same stuff. Everyone wanting the same attention, everyone fighting for the same, you know, walk-in or appraisal book rotation or the same data. Everyone's fighting over that because you are a business within a business. Whereas here, we're our own businesses and we're self-sufficient. Now, sure, I could choose not to collaborate and share, but that wouldn't influence our culture in the right way. And I was talking about it before with Brigitte, our queen. And we said, you know, why do we think it's this way with our culture? And it's because we're self-sufficient. Like if I go out and help Bjorn today, or I choose not to, obviously I'm going to, but it doesn't affect my business, and my business will sustain and keep happening because I'm self-sufficient. I choose to help Bjorn out of the goodness of just being a good person, right? Whereas in a lot of businesses, they don't care about the person they sit next to. It's like, these are the walls, mate, and I only care about inside my home, my walls. I don't care about your home if it falls down. So I think they're the two main reasons why we have this willingness and culture of collaboration where we just give and share. And there's stuff.
You've nailed it, Chris. It's funny because when I wasn't doing so well in real estate, okay, I was focused on listings, focused on sales, focused on money, focused on me. And somebody said to me, Bjorn, I want you to do something. I want you to imagine that you're a billionaire and you're just doing this for fun, because otherwise you'd be bored. And this is your golf, this is your fishing. And all I want you to do is help people. That's it. All I want you to do is focus on helping people. And so I thought, okay, forget about getting a listing or not getting a listing. How can I help this person in front of me? And you know what? Listing. How can I help this person? Sale. How can I help this person? Listing, listing, listing. Sale, sale, sale. So the mindset's completely different, because we come from an area of abundance, because there's so much to go around. Yeah. Like Chris said, he helps people out of the goodness and kindness of his own heart. Now, Glenn Sanford, our founder, says, if you help, and I think it's the same from somebody else, but if you help enough people in life get what they want, you will receive everything that you want. And my focus and Chris's focus and pretty much everyone in eXp's focus isn't KPIs, phone calls, number of people, number of closings of deals, or number of listings you're going to put. It's none of that. It's all about help me, help you. That's simple. And all the agents that get it, that are focusing on that and bringing it down to a real personal level, they're winning the business and they're getting the listings and they're getting the sales, and it's all coming as a secondary result of their focus to help the person that's in front of them. And Chris helps me, I help Chris and I help the other guys help Chris and I. It's just a help me, help you environment that I've never experienced before, because like Chris said, there were too many seagulls and not enough chips. And now we're in a heaven of chips. As a bunch of seagulls.
I'm just going to point out there's two things as part of our core values. We've got 9 core values, but the first one's community, and that's what we're talking about here. Be a good neighbour to create a sustainable legacy, right? So our neighbours are the guys and girls we work next to within eXp, right? We all want good neighbours, don't we? Treat your neighbour poorly, you're not going to have a good neighbour. And the other one is collaboration. We're all on the same field, and I love that one. Because I know I came from an environment, there was different players playing on different fields depending on what day it was. And often, you know, if there was only one chip and 10 seagulls, there was no collaboration going on in that office at that time. So I love those two values. I think they resonate with myself, and I think Bjorn absolutely, and that's resonated through to the neighbours we've drawn in that now live next door to us.
Yeah, I agree. That they're the people that we're attracting, that kind of culture.
And you know, Lisa, talking about the chips and seagull analogy, I love this one, right? If there were 10 of us agents as seagulls and one chip, you know what we'd do at eXp? We'd cut it into 10 pieces and we'd all have a 10th of the chip. Because that's just how we do things. Because one day we know there's going to be 100 chips and we can all get 10 chips each. And that's the mentality and the mindset that we have. And this is why it's growing so organically, so fast, and so big. And this is why agents are now coming to us, and eXp is becoming an attraction company rather than us having to go out and sell it, because agents are just realizing, wow, these guys are doing some big things.
How many people are in South Australia now? How many of the team members have we done? Sorry?
22.
22, yep. And plus more coming very soon. Yeah. Awesome.
2 more onboarding. So 24. Great. So that's not too bad. A lot of people say, Lisa, you guys haven't really taken off as much as you should have, right? And I think they're the people that they have external influences, and they probably don't really understand the model. But I don't know any business in my marketplace, and I don't know any business in your marketplace, particularly in this time where, you know, the going's good for agents. So many agents aren't moving because the market's pumping, right? They're making money. They're selling properties. Vendor paid advertising debt's probably really low. Retainer debts being held is probably paid back within a month, maybe 6 weeks at most. So life's good for agents and business owners. Well, I've said all along, it's when the market turns, which it will, that this model will really stand out, because when the market turns, the vendor paid advertising debts will blow out, the retainer holding debts, there'll be lots of taps on the shoulders. You know, it's 60 days, mate, and you're 10 grand in the hole here. It's a different conversation. So, you know, but I don't know any businesses that have brought on 22 agents in about 22 months. That's one agent a month in the last not even 2 years. I think that's pretty astronomical. And the challenge we've got here in Australia, we could have brought on probably another 100 agents, to be honest with you. We've said no to as many as we've said yes, but because of legislation or employment law requirements here in Australia, we've had to say no often to make sure we're compliant. I know there's models out there that will have taken people we've said no to, and they haven't met the national employer requirements, but I don't know about you, law's law. There's no grey, it's black or white. So that's really the only reason we haven't grown as much as the United States and Canada, is because our employment laws are vastly different. We're so tightly legislated. Here's a fact for you though. Out of all the countries, 20 plus countries that we're in now, Australia sits at number 3 in terms of production revenue. We're second.
Awesome,
we're just sitting behind Canada.
Wow.
You know,
that's
so
amazing.
we don't have the massive agent count, but of the agents we've got, good quality, they're turning over. They're producing agents, they're listing, they're transacting, they're selling, and they're making commission.
That's awesome. I believe Team South Australia are proudly leading the way with that, Chris. I believe that we are bringing in a vast majority of that revenue to eXp, and the collaboration that we've started. You heard of Fox Transport, Lisa? They started off with one truck, and they went to the suburb next door, and they went next door, and they went next door. That's what we've done at eXp. We've started here, and then we've just slowly spread it out. We're not trying to, at Team eXp, get people from Queensland or New South Wales or Victoria, whatever. We just looking after the neighbouring agents in our neighbouring suburb, and then they look after neighbouring agents their suburb. And I think that's why we've been so successful as well, because we can provide 2 agents that opens. We can provide support if people are sick, because our agents most of us live within like 15 kilometres of each other. Except for James Stacey, who's on the Eyre Peninsula. But that gives us a good excuse to go for a fishing trip, doesn't it?
100%. 100%.
So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Now I've got a question for both of you, just to wrap it up. Where do you see eXp going in the future, both South Australia, Australia, and the world? Chris, did you want to go first?
A big play for us is teams, which in like transitioning business owners over with staff. That's high on our radar right now. But again, it's the legalities of employment contracts and employment laws. Like if we could unlock teams here in Australia like they did in America, we'd be at 300 agents. Oh, easy. No props. So I think the next 12 months, if that will change, absolutely. The big legal heads in the States are looking at it right now for us. Once that opens up, that'll open up the doorway. We're now moving into commercial as well, and business transactions. I have said all along, the end of this year, 2022, after the federal election, once the market shifts from, I think Tom Pannock says it, nuts to normal, I think that's where we'll see the movement really start to happen, where agents will be going, okay, it's tighter, days on market are pushing out. Inventory might stay low by the looks of things so far. I think the tail end of this year is what I'm super excited about. But more importantly, I think agents getting their group certificate at the end of the financial year should be looking at that number. And whatever that number reads, all you've got to do with us is minus 25 grand off of that gross income certificate that you get. And if you paid more than that 25 grand off your total group certificate number at the end of this financial year, well, if the market's changing and you think your self-value is worth more, let's just have a conversation and plug the numbers in with us.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Bjorn?
It's funny, Lisa, because, and Chris will relate to this, call me psychic, call me whatever, but I was always going on well before eXp even came to Australia. I said there needs to be a model one day where everybody's equal, we're all our own bosses, but we all sort of like have access to support, but we can all retain 100% of our commissions and we can all work together somehow. I don't know how it's going to happen or how it's going to work, but it has to be out there. It has to be, because this franchise model stuff, in all due respect, if you're a brand new agent, it's very good. But as soon as you become an experienced agent, it's not very good anymore, because you've either got to grow a massive team and have all these overheads and all these debts, or you've got to become the guy that's taking 50% off the other people. So I thought people aren't going to keep buying into this. They're not. There's better ways of doing things. I said there's got to be some sort of system out there like this, didn't I, Chris? And then I looked at eXp and I was like, and I said to Mike as well, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is exactly what I've been talking about. This is it. So where do I see eXp going? I see eXp within 5 years being, well, I see eXp within 12 months being the biggest real estate network in the world, worldwide, within 12 months. And I see within 5 years, once agents start to let go of their fears of, oh my God, they own my database, I'm going to get sued and all this other stuff, because I think fear is the only thing that's stopping us from being 5,000 agents strong right now. Because when agents look at the maths, look at the numbers, block out the outside influences, and just go common sense and logic, all emotion out of it. Okay, common sense and logic, all emotion out, right? It's an absolute no-brainer. So I think within 5 years, we'll be the biggest real estate network in the country. And I think it'll be based on the decline of the franchises as the franchise agents start to move over. Now, what will happen is the trainee franchise agents, not the $1 million guys, but the guys that are their support staff that are getting
42 grand a year.
42 grand a year. I was going to use other words. You put the right word in my mouth, Chris.
They're the numbers. They're the numbers, because they're guys and girls we're talking to have come over, and that's what they're getting paid per annum.
Yeah. And our guys that have come over from 42 grand a year are now on 100, 150, 200, 300 grand a year. It's a huge difference. And now what's going to happen?
Bori wrote 100 grand in a quarter.
There you go. Yeah. So when other agents realize that and see that and let go of their fears, what's going to happen is not the big $1 million agents at the franchise are going to be like, oh, it's crap, it's rubbish, it's a pyramid, it's this, it's that, because they don't want to lose their support staff. Their support staff will come over first, and that's what's already started to happen, right? And once their support staff come over, the other top dogs are going to hate us. They're going to absolutely hate us. They're going to hate us for 12 months, 18 months, and then they're going to go, you know what?
And then they're going to join.
If you can't beat them, join them. And then they're going to come over and join us. So I think within 5 years, we will be the biggest real estate network in Australia. And there will be maybe about 3 or 4 other companies which will try to replicate or have a similar sort of model to ours. And these companies will flourish along with us. And it'll be at the demise of the franchises as the franchise numbers decline. That's what I personally see happening. And that's not coming at this from an eXp member that's being eXp one-sided. This is what I've envisioned before eXp was even around, that there was going to be a new model, a new system. Like we're the Netflix, we're the Amazon, we're the online banking. I don't line up at a bank anymore. I barely go to the shops to buy things. And I don't watch normal TV. You know, or go to Blockbuster Video and get 2 weeklies and 2 new releases for $9.90 with a bag of popcorn. I go on Netflix, Disney, Amazon Plus. So I think that's where we're heading. I think it is the future of real estate. Maybe not necessarily just eXp, but the companies that are replicating or doing the same sort of things and offering what we offer. Because agents are sick and tired of $42,000 a year, like Chris said. Or earning.
It's also going to be, it's going to be the generational change that's here. Like, you know, I'm the Gen Y, born in the 80s, but it's these Gen Zs and Gen Alphas that are the new wave generation, that these guys are trading crypto. Like there's more millionaires that are like between the ages of 20 and 30 because they're on crypto, right? And I haven't even got my head around that, right? So it's that generation that are coming in as associates, as Bjorn said, or support, that are going to go, this makes no sense. Like I'm making more trading crypto from my bedroom at home. I do want to get into real estate. Why don't I just align my business to be online cloud like crypto trading is? So you're going to see a big shift. A lot of the big performers in our industry, or in our marketplace anyway, are of a different generation. They've come through the traditional ways, obviously, and they're still in that way, but they're big performers, but it's taken them 15, 20, 25 years to get there. Whereas now we're seeing more agents go from 0 to 100 sales in a year or two, right? Because that is the new generation of agent that's coming through because of technology, because of cloud-based systems, because of a different way of doing business like we're talking about today. So it'll be that generation that I'm excited to tap into right now. Getting on their wavelength is a whole different ballgame though.
No, I agree. I agree with both of you. I think that there's a lot of agents that are sort of sitting back and looking at what we're doing and haven't jumped on board yet. And it's only a matter of time before they do, you know, that it's still that it's too good to be true kind of thing. You know, we're the guinea pigs and they're watching. And, you know, I really believe that there's going to be a tipping point, you know, where, you know, they all just start to sort of jump on board. And that's what happened in America too. You know, the top performers took a little while to come over, like some of them. And once they did, you know, that there was that tipping point where a lot more came over. So I think that's going to happen too in the next 12 months. I think for sure. Yeah. All right.
Definitely. And we're being noticed here in South Australia. We've got the northeast, the north, the east and the west down pat. We haven't ventured south yet. So south, there might be a little bit of what's this eXp stuff. But I can tell you, everybody from north, east and west of the city, they all know who eXp are. And like Chris says, it's only been 22 months.
Yeah.
And everybody knows who we are in our areas. So it's going to be very exciting, Lisa, what's to come. And I'm glad that I've got this man right by my side, and I've got you by my side as well on this journey. So
yeah, same. Well, thank you, both of you. And anybody that's interested in joining eXp or finding out more, please give one of us a call, and we're happy to discuss anything about eXp with you.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Lisa. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for your time today, Chris. Thanks, Lisa.
Chris.
Thanks, Bjorn.
All righty. How's that? Good. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk About Real Estate podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have a question about real estate, then please join the group on Facebook, also called Let's Talk About Real Estate. For those of you who are interested in eXp, please join us at 10 a.m. Brisbane time every Wednesday morning for eXp Explained. Thank you again for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, and see you next week.